In the previous section, you learned basic conducting patterns, and now we're going to take a look at written out music and see how those patterns might be applied to music that's already been notated. So we're going to talk about bar lines and measures first of all. So written music is divided into measures by bar lines to be read more easily and to clarify the music's pattern of beats. So what the heck does that mean? Well, bar lines are these vertical lines. There's a bar line over here, in fact, but more saliently, they're over here. These are all bar lines, and they are chunking the music into meaningful groups. And what are those little groups? These are measures. So as you see here, the distance between this bar line and that bar line, everything in between there is a measure. Here's another measure. Here's another measure, another measure, another measure. So the measures are the stuff in between consecutive bar lines. And then at the very end, we've got this special kind of bar line, this final double bar line, and that just tells you that it's the end of the piece of music. Here's a little note. Musicians refer to measures and bars as basically the same thing. So one measure is the same thing as one bar. So you'll hear me use those two terms interchangeably. All right, now let's see how our conducting patterns match up with some symbols in music. So at the beginning of each piece of music, you'll see a time signature, which is a pair of numbers that describe what's contained within each measure. And there are three really important time signatures that you want to know right off the bat, what we're going to call 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4. And this is what they look like in music. So here's a 2/4 time signature. Here's that 3/4 time signature. Here's that 4/4 time signature. So look at how they are laid out. So in text, you notice that I was using this little slash symbol to separate the two numbers. But in music, the two numbers are just one on top of the other. There is no slash. They're just living in this example of musical notation. So that's just a little clarification. When you see the time signatures in text, they look like this. When you see them in music, they look like that. Now, this is what's going to be covered, I believe, on the next, top of the next page. So I'm just going to do it right here so you can see it on the actual notation itself. When you see 2/4 as your time signature, you conduct a 2 pattern for every measure. You're focusing on this top number. When you see a 3/4 time signature, pay attention to that top number, you'll conduct a 3 pattern for every measure. And finally, if you see this time signature, focus on the 4 on top, you're going to conduct a 4 pattern for each measure. So let's turn the page to top of 8, and what you see there is just a summary of what I was just talking about. And don't worry about what the bottom number means just yet. We'll cover that later. But for right now, if you see 2/4, conduct a 2, 3/4, conduct a 3, and 4/4, conduct a 4 for each measure of a piece. So let's go over this exercise. This one should be pretty fun and easy for you to do. So what you're going to do is to look at the time signature in each case and just keep track of the measures as you go through the piece. So here, it looks like we got 1 measure, 2 measures, 3 it looks like we've got a total of 4 measures, and we've got this number 3 on top. So we're going to conduct a 3 pattern for each measure. Now remember, the 3 pattern, of course, is down, out, up, and in very crude terms, you could think of it as this: down, out, up, just like a little triangle. So when you conduct through this, what you're going to be doing is conducting 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then you're done with that piece of music. The next one, which I'll let you do on your own, you're going to once again pay attention to the time signature, especially that top number. It looks like you're going to be using a 2 pattern. You'll have to figure out how many measures you have. And as always, make sure your beats are steady throughout. Then the last one, this is the trickiest of the 3. You have changing time signatures actually in the middle of the piece. So at the beginning, you've got this 4/4, so that should clue you in, I've got to do a 4 pattern. And then you're going to switch gears, conduct a 3 pattern, and then a 2 pattern. So you do the 4 pattern for 2 measures in a row, then the 3 pattern, and then immediately switch gears once again for the 2 pattern. So try these out and see if you can get through all of them successfully.